Hi everyone, I am the Beardy Red Viking, and this is
Get a Winterfest 2024 Review and Merch Haul.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. I just thought I'd quickly take 10-15 minutes of your time just to run over what went down in Glasgow this past weekend. As you may know, and have probably already seen from channels such as Mark G with a C and Rock and Metal Plus, myself, as well as a number of my friends from the vinyl community on YouTube, as well as a few people from Instagram and people who don't do either, made the pilgrimage up to Glasgow last Friday, the 26th of January, to attend the Dead of Winterfest on Saturday the 27th. It's an all-day death metal festival. This was the first iteration of it, this weekend just gone. It was put on by Kendo and Kwando of BRAINBATH fame, and a fantastic time was had by all, suffice to say. If you know any of my friends, or even myself, follow me on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, you've always seen plenty of photos and stuff like that, but I thought I'd quickly run over the day and show you some of the merch that I picked up. So, it was an 11-band festival. It was at Ivory Blacks, as I may have already mentioned, in the city centre, which is a great little venue. 300 capacity, and it actually sold out as well. We found out a couple of days before that there were 20 or 30 tickets left on the doors, and we were informed while we were there that it actually sold out, which is fantastic. It was a great display of UK underground death metal, and it featured the following bands, as you will see in this image I'm showing you right now. So, to start the day off, there was JAUNDICE, who are a brand new band, very young band, full of teenagers. I think the oldest of them is about 16, 17, something like that. It was their first ever gig, and they put on a great show. You could tell at the odd moment here and there that it was probably their first gig or something like that, but overall they put on a fantastic show, and considering the 16, the future of death metal is in safe hands, it's fair to say. Following on from JAUNDICE was ENUCLEATE. They were oppressive, is the main word I could think of while I was watching him. Brutally heavy, did not let up for even a few seconds, just constantly delivering the riffs, the brutality, and yeah, didn't let up for even a second. We also then had TYMVOS, who I had not previously heard of prior to the festival. I hadn't managed to get around to checking out on any of their music, but I'd say they were probably a bit bolt thrower-ish in terms of what they delivered. I think they actually played the bolt thrower cover, if I remember correctly. I think it was them, it might have been one of the other bands. A fair few beverages were consumed, so you'll have to forgive me if I've got mixed up there. And yeah, they were really enjoyable. Every single band on the day played great. The next band up was Trenchfoot from Liverpool. Bit of sort of Morbid Angel style, old school death metal. Played a fantastic set again. You'll have to forgive me because I am a little bit hazy about some of the earlier bands. I really remember the last few bands quite distinctly, but I was drinking quite heavily earlier on in the day, slowed down a little bit towards the end of the night, and paid a little bit more attention, made a few videos and took a few more pictures and stuff like that. The early parts of the day, I didn't actually get too many pictures, didn't get any video of the weekend. I thought I'd do a vlog, but when I saw that Mark was doing one and other people one, I thought there was no point in doing another one. There is a suggestion that we might do a live stream at some point to discuss the weekend and talk through some of the highlights and stuff like that. Not sure if that's going to happen, but you may see that coming in the future. But yeah, Trenchfoot, absolutely fantastic, really enjoyed the show. And the next band up was RANCID CADAVER, who again put on a blinder. They did have a few issues with their bass drum pedal, I think it was, that was causing them problems. So there were a few sort of issues during that set, and they had to take a break to sort that out at one point, but all the bands pulled together, managed to sort them out, some replacement gear, and got things up and running again. After them, we did have to take a bit of time out and go and get a bit of food and stuff like that at the Wetherspoons down the road. So unfortunately we did miss VULGAR Dissection, but thankfully they're playing this Friday at ATMA in Manchester alongside Fetal Juice and BRAINBATH, who were also playing this evening that we're talking about just now. So yeah, I'll be seeing them this Friday, so I've not missed too much that I'm not going to see immediately afterwards, pretty much. So yeah, after we got back from the pub, we witnessed a CREMULATION, who were one of the more raw, sort of caveman style death metal, I would call it, bands of the day. And yeah, they put on a good show, really enjoyed them. But then the serious stuff for me picked up after they finished, which we begin with the mighty BRAINBATH. I've discussed them a little bit on my Instagram posts about how great their set was. They had the crowd going wild. There were stage divers, there were crowd surfers, there was mosh pits left, right and centre. You could tell it was a hometown gig. It was actually mentioned a few times by a few people there that they were pretty much the house band. I discussed that through Messenger with Kendo, and he said he was honoured to hear that. So absolutely fantastic show. Absolutely brought the riffs, brought the brutality, brought the crowd participation. And yeah, as I say, this was when the really serious stuff started for me. Not to say that any of the bands were bad. As I say, everyone played a fantastic show. I really enjoyed all of the performances. But yeah, the really, really, really big stuff for me personally was all from BRAINBATH upwards, so from 7:10 up. Next up after BRAINBATH was COFFIN, who we're listening to in the background. And they, again, put on an absolutely brutal show. As you can hear, the music's quite oppressive, quite brutal, quite nihilistic in tone. It's murky, it's sludgy, it's just pure filth, basically. So they were great. They put on a fantastic show as well. And then next up was CONSECRATION. Now, CONSECRATION are a band I've got to know a fair bit over the last couple of years, since I started this YouTube channel, having got to know Liam, the Death Doom metalhead. So I knew their stuff better than probably most of the other bands that were on. And fair to say, they put on an absolute blinder of a show. There were a few moments where I think maybe the long day and the beers that one or two of them may or may not have been consuming may have taken its toll a little bit, but overall they put on a great show. It was slow, it was doomy, it was atmospheric, it was absolutely brilliant. Paul from Enchantment came up for one of the songs and did some vocals, and he played an absolute blinder as well. All in all, an absolutely fantastic show. And then finally, band of the day for me were MALEDICTION. You may or may not be aware of MALEDICTION. If you've had anything to do with this festival, I'm sure you'll be well aware of who they are. They've been around since the early 90s, recorded a couple of demos here and there, but never actually released any official material until last year with the Soil Throne EP, which I only heard towards the end of the year. It was only actually released back end of the year, in fact, but it blew my mind. It was one of the releases of last year. It's absolutely savage, disgusting, and I've listened to it quite a bit in preparation for this festival this last weekend. And yeah, they did not disappoint. Considering it was their first show in over 29 years, unbelievably, you wouldn't have known. They didn't miss a beat, they didn't miss a trick. They were absolutely fantastic. An absolute lesson, as I've already described them, in precision and brutality. Absolutely fantastic. Bassist Rick, he was pulling some of the most monstrous dirt faces on stage while he was playing his bass. Riff faces, as they may also be known by others within the community. Utterly phenomenal show, and even more impressive considering what was announced during the show, that the vocalist Sean has been suffering with, I think it was throat cancer. His vocals are savage, and he put on an absolutely fantastic performance, as did the rest of the band. But yeah, you wouldn't have known they'd been away for 29 years, and you certainly wouldn't have known that their vocalist had just recently recovered from such an ordeal. So fair play to all of you, fair play especially to Sean. So next I'm going to show the merch that I picked up. It's fair to say that among my chums and myself, I think I probably bought more than everyone else. I'd been saving my pennies in advance for this show. I was looking forward to it. I knew there was going to be plenty of stuff that I was going to want to pick up. I ended up being given a little bag to carry everything in by one of the ladies at the merch stall, kindly enough. So if you're watching this, thank you very much for the little bag. I will never forget the kindness Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, let's show you what I picked up. So first of all, I went to the stall for Macho Records, which is put on by Kenny from BRAINBATH, who we've already discussed. I picked up this album from Fainag, I think you'd pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure. That's the name right there. It's on a lovely red shell. I haven't got round to listening to these just yet, but picked them up and thought I'd show them off. So that is a 10-track album, I would imagine. Comes on a nice sort of clear shell with sort of metallic red. Came with a sticker, and there's the J card with the cover, and there's a picture of the boys on the inside. As well as that, I also picked up this, which comes in a nice cardboard sleeve, and this is Monstrosity with the Passage of Existence. Just a sort of clear coloured charcoaly kind of shell, and this is a 12-track album. Comes with a bit more of a significant fold out J card. Great artwork there. Some demons fighting on the front, looks great. And then you've got the lyrics and the credits and stuff like that on the inside. So yeah, those were a couple of things I picked up from Macho Records alongside this BRAINBATH t-shirt. They had plenty of colourful shirts on show. It's just a plain back, but I'm not really one for a colourful t-shirt. I do go with a colourful checked flannel shirt every now and again, colourful caps, colourful socks, but when it comes to jeans and t-shirts, I tend to go with the black, so I picked this one up. Next, I picked up the CD you're listening to in the background, which actually was thrown in free of charge because I bought it on vinyl. Conscripted Morality, their latest EP. As you can hear, it's absolutely glorious, murky filth. This is on white vinyl, which wouldn't be my preferred colour of choice, but as far as I'm aware, that was the only option, and I'm more than happy to own it on white, because it's absolutely fantastic. So there's the inner sleeve. There's the artwork, as you can see. I also purchased a t-shirt for my good lady Mrs. Olivia, as unfortunately she was supposed to be coming, but she had some family stuff going on, so she ended up having to go to Derby for that. So I picked up a long sleeve for her. I'm pretty sure the artwork is the same as this. This is my short sleeve. Consumed by rotting roots. So yeah, as well as that, I was given kindly by the guitarist this CD, which you're listening to right now. Came with a nice foil sticker on the front, which unfortunately I've kind of ruined ripping it off, only to end up sticking it back on another piece of plastic because I didn't want to spoil the sleeve. But yeah, same tracks as what you've got here. This is the Conscripted Morality, as you can see, same artwork. Superb stuff. Then I went and raided Malediction's stall. So let's go backwards chronologically, shall we? So I had to pick this up. As I say, it was one of my favourite releases from last year. Probably my absolute favourite, if I'm being completely honest with you. Absolute savagery of the highest order. Malediction, The Soil Throne. Fantastic artwork there, as you can see. Comes with the inner sleeve. It's not an inner sleeve, is it? It's just a cardboard inner. But yeah, Absolutely brilliant album. That's just on standard black vinyl. I think there was a splattery coloured one or something like that as well, but I decided to go for classic black on this one. Came with a poster of the artwork, which looks great, with the boys on it down below as well as a sticker of the album's artwork too. I also got it on cassette. Macho Records put out an edition with a green shell, which looks absolutely great. It also came with a sticker. And then with a J card, some slightly different artwork there, as well as the credits. And a little bit of a history about the band in there as well, which is cool. Next was this. I'm not actually sure the order of release of these or the ones here, but I'm guessing this probably isn't next actually. It's probably the first of the CDs I'll show you. But anyway, I'll show you the vinyl first. So, Framework of Contortion, 10-inch. Some extreme music with a nice inner as well. Looks like this was probably originally released on cassette. So you've got the J card reprinted there on the inner, and then some collagey stuff as well. Just on standard black 10-inch vinyl, which looks great in my personal opinion. Then you've got a compilation of some of the earlier demos running from 1990 to 1994 on Dark Blasphemies Records. Doesn't say when this was actually initially released, but it looks a little bit more modern than that. As I say, comes on CD. Unfortunately got some broken teeth on the inside, but I've got some spare CD cases so I can replace that easily enough. And then we've got a nice thick booklet on the inside. The artwork's superb. Some nasty looking black and white stuff. Some more artwork inside along with the lyrics. Quite nihilistic looking stuff. Nice picture of the band back in the day when they were playing live back in the 90s. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And then finally, there is, it's difficult to read this, Chronicles of Dissension, which is probably an early demo by the looks of things. 6 tracks, 5 tracks, 6 tracks. It's really difficult to read because it's sort of dark blue on multicoloured background. This was released on Soundface International Records, Soundphase should I say. Plain green CD. This actually just came in a little sleeve, but it has all the gear to put it into a proper case, so I've done that since just before recording this video. There's some credits, a little bit more artwork. And then from Malediction, the final piece is this long sleeve t-shirt, which is artwork for the Framework of Contortion 10-inch that I showed you before. Cool artwork there. Framework of Contortion down that sleeve, Malediction logo down that one, and then some lyrics on the back. Looks superb. I'm not actually sure if any of these are going to fit me, unfortunately, because I'm normally a 3XL and they didn't have anything above a 2XL, but everyone kept on telling me, now you'll be fine, you'll fit into it. And if not, I'll use them all as an incentive to lose a bit of timber. As you can all see, I could do with doing that anyway. Finally, I nipped to Consecration's merch stand when I had a chat with Liam, picked up a few bits. First up, I got a copy of Sinis, their most recent release, on vinyl, grey vinyl. Oh yeah, forgot about that actually. It's just jumped out at me from the sleeve of this. I've got a Malediction patch as well. So yeah, I actually already own this on CD, but I didn't have it on vinyl. The reason why I don't own it on vinyl before now was because there's a couple of tracks missing off this, but the artwork is fantastic, and I wanted it on vinyl for a while, so I finally got round to doing it. Got a full fold out of the full piece there. Lyrics on the inside and a picture of the dudes, Liam and the boys. So I got that. Then I got their recent Cavernous Records release of Ephemerality. I believe this is either a re-recording or a reissue from last year of an earlier album. Cool artwork. The CD, as you can see it, the booklet with the lyrics. And yeah, I was looking at a couple of other things and was tempted to buy a copy of Fragilium on the CD because I wasn't sure whether I had it or not. Good job I didn't. Liam talked me out and said, no, you don't want that one. Apparently the band aren't the biggest fans of that particular release, but I do remember enjoying it when I did listen to it. I do already have that on CD, so I ordered that a while back, I think probably around the same time I bought Sinis, and I remember enjoying it. So I don't know what they're talking about, but I liked it. But it's a bit of a different sound, a bit more funeral doom-esque, and they've moved on from that kind of sound. So Liam told me not to bother with that one, and I'm glad because I've already got it anyway. And I got a Consecration pin, and Liam was kind enough to chuck a postcard of the Sinis album artwork as well. So that's it, that's everything I picked up at Dead of Winter Festival. I didn't want to go too much into the festival itself because, as I say, we may be talking about that on a live stream sometime down the road. It was asked that we give a little bit of feedback on the festival overall, if we did any videos about this, and just have to say, overall, I got very little negative feedback to give. The show was fantastic, the bands were all great, the organisation was flawless, everyone was up and off stage perfectly on time and everything like that, no issues with that as far as I remember. As I say, I had a few beers, but yeah, it all seemed to be running very smoothly. The bar was well stocked, plenty of decent beers available. The only slight gripe I might have was the merch area was on a very narrow sort of bit in the corner, and at times it got a little bit cramped around there. But absolutely minor gripe, nothing that I would suggest it needs urgently looking into. But the boys did say they might look into getting somewhere bigger for the next edition, which they announced will be happening. And then that might have been a little bit macho bravado there at the end of the show, because they were then saying, we'll look at it, but we're hoping it becomes a yearly event. So yeah, if it does, we'll all be back up there again next year and every year after. But yeah, thanks very much Kendo and Kwando. Thanks to everyone who I met, chatted with while I was there. Thanks to all my friends in the VC for making it an absolutely incredible weekend. And thanks to you for watching this video. If you do want to see more of my stuff, please like, subscribe, leave comments down below if you've got anything to say about the festival or anything else you'd like to chat about. I'd be happy to hear from you. Otherwise, thanks very much, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Beardy Red Viking, out.